And we are back. Good evening, everyone. We already have, ready to have about 20 people in the chat ready to go. How's it going? This is Andre Johnson from Stage Media Solutions. So happy to be back. It is week -1 that we're talking about, not week 0. Everybody, like, so what are y'all gonna do next week? Is it week 0 again? Is week 0 squared? Like, what are you guys gonna do?
Week 0, part 2.
Yeah, for
So
real.
it's week -1. We're talking about the first week of non-league, whatever you want to call it. Of course, I'm not alone. Could never do this alone. Jared, let's go to E first. How you doing, my guy?
I can't complain, bro. You know, it's the best time of the year. Football is back. So, what can we complain about, right?
Yeah, man. The calendar has turned. It's officially September. Man, who said I'm whispering? Ed is starting already. Who said I'm whispering? We're
He's
gonna
already
get to
started.
y'all. We're gonna
Yeah.
get to y'all, man. Jared, what's the word, man?
Man, I'm just so excited, man. I'm glad to be back. Week 0, pretty crazy. I'm just excited that we get to talk about it. And yeah, man, I'm honestly just fired up. Lot went down, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A lot went down. There were some really tight games. There were some lopsided games, but like, I went back and watched, I would say 80% of the games. Some games I wasn't able to watch, and there was just so much to really take away from it.
Yeah.
You can call this overreaction Monday if you really want to. Spoilers, I am not going to overreact to certain things, but I'm going to react to other things that I feel like need to be reacted to, but that's just me. You guys feel free to overreact if you would like to.
I
Chat,
might.
feel
I
like
might. Yeah.
chat. I've seen you guys all over Instagram anyway. So
Already, Ed starting.
dang,
Already, man.
Jared.
Jared is
Dang.
banned from Hayes games. Wow.
But
I
listen,
was so hot
let's start
about
getting
you.
into it because we have a lot to go through. This will be a bit longer
Yeah,
of a
true.
show just because we have so many games to go through. Usually, let's say the PSAL teams play each other, the Catholic leagues play each other. Um, with everyone having their own game per se, there's going to be more games that we need to get into. So, first thing, just a reminder for the Sage Standout Student Section Scholarship. That is the judging for that is going to start in 2 weeks for the first Sage Standout Game of the Week. The first game is going to be Curtis versus Lincoln, just to throw up that schedule, just in case you guys forgot. So excited for that. So hopefully you guys are already kind of planning out what you guys want to do for those student sections. So again, it's going to be a $1,000 donation to the winner. It's going to be judged by a panel. I'm going to beat this over your head for these next couple of weeks, just so you guys can really get into it. I'm going to send some information to the coaches, so hopefully you guys can put this over the PA at school, so everyone at the school knows and everyone comes and really shows their school spirit. That's kind of the point. We really want to get a crowd going, and of course, make sure you become a Sage member so you don't miss any of the games. There will be member-only games. We are in September now, so this is the perfect time to subscribe. We're planning on doing we're going to try to get at least 2 extra games in, aside from the game of the week. And of course, you guys should know by now that, we do all of the Eagle games. Those are sponsored streams. And as of right now, not all of the games of the week are sponsored. So if you don't want to miss any action, make sure you become a member. K1 Live, he became a member today. Really appreciate you. And I'm just going to show you guys again, just to remind you of some of the emojis that you can use. My guy Dre, you were a winner in the chat. What's up, my guy? So threw in that blur emoji. There are some players at Cardinal Hayes that they probably would have seen that if I was live streaming that. They would have seen that in the chat a bit. But we're gonna get into that. But first, like I said, we're gonna get right into it, and I feel like this is an appropriate place to start. And Dre, You actually don't need to be on your laptop to become a member. Andy Photography, he just became a member. Really, really appreciate you. Make sure you use your emojis. And as you say that, I'm sorry, I know I was about to start the show, Jared E. But I just want to make sure I put that in the chat because you do not need to get to your desktop anymore. I think YouTube kind of updated that just in time. And there's a link that you can join on mobile or desktop. So that's the link in the chat. If you guys want to become Sage members, like I said, not only do you get access to the emojis, but there will be games, and I'm going to announce the games probably next week that we will be doing that are going to be member only. Mac, what's the word, my guy? You are a winner. But okay, I've spoken enough. Let's get into the first game, and of course, we have to start with the champions, man. And what I thought was the most impressive performance of the weekend, Curtis 17, St. Peter's nothing. My guy Lars, and thank you for reminding me because I did want to bring this up. So Lars with the $1 donation, really appreciate you, Lars. And shout out, hold on, because I do not want to get it wrong. Give me 1 second. So Forgotten by 4. I want to make sure I got that right. Shout out Forgotten by 4 for real. You guys are really doing a good job covering Staten Island. You guys showed me some of the you guys showed me. You guys took a picture of some of the behind the scenes, or I saw some of your guys with the laptops, right after taking the pictures. Me knowing what goes into that. Huge shout out to you guys because it's a ton of work, it's a ton of coordination. I know Lars, I'm pretty sure you're not even. I think Lars is upstate in Buffalo, I'm pretty sure. And he's still coordinating everything. So huge shout out to him. Shout out to LaBelle Picks as well. My fault if I'm saying it wrong.
My guy
Because he
Mark.
also hooked me up with some pictures. So appreciate that. Dre, thank you for becoming a member. Dre's like, yo. See, I'm a member. Yo, you gotta get Sheepshead on some of these games. We'll see, man. You can't bribe me that easily. You can't bribe me that easily. Did we talk about Lincoln? We just started. You haven't missed anything yet, Eric.
Can't wait to talk about English.
You really feeding to talk about Lincoln like that, though?
I might want to wait a little bit.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah. Oh, he's in Arizona. Okay. Oh, yeah. You go to Arizona now. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Shout out to all the Staten Island guys for real. But yes, we're starting in Staten Island. I have been speaking for about 6 minutes straight. Jared, take it away, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, this one, I was so intrigued going into this game because, St. Peter's, they have a lot of new faces, but I was excited about, this offense. I mean, Anthony DeCunto is a great quarterback. Their offensive line always, really well coached. They got some big boys over there. Josiah Jones and Ben Terry are 2 great receivers. But this Curtis, I was interested to see their defense because, they lost some amazing linebackers from last season. So it's like, all right, how are they going to do going against a great Catholic opponent? And man, I mean, they're just so impressive. This Warriors defense continues to steal the show. It's like they haven't missed a beat from last season whatsoever, especially big number 3, man. I mean, Jared Surratt is unbelievable. And Dre, I know you're a big fan of Jaleel Parnell as well. He is fantastic. So it's simple, but obviously a huge story in it. That Curtis front 7 is still, I mean, unbelievable in that defense as a whole.
So real quick, because I know you kind of mentioned that, Lars, really appreciate it. Appreciate all the work you guys do. It's going to be an amazing season. I really, really agree. I do think it's going to be an amazing season for many different reasons, Catholic and public. So, Jared, you set me up there before I go to E because I want to make sure I make this announcement for everyone. Ty Sean, my guy, we're on the first game right now. Everyone, this is the day that Jaleel Parnell is no longer underrated. Mr. Parnell, you are a superstar. Okay? You are not allowed to say you are underrated anymore. You guys still hear me, right? I lost my audio. You guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You good.
Yeah. All right, cool. Yo, If you go back and watch this tape of Jaleel Parnell's performance, and he and the Curtis defense, I think every single person, if you play for the Staten Island Hurricanes, if you play for, I'm not gonna say New York Jets, but like if you play for any team in New York, any high school team, you need to go watch how much desperation those guys play with on defense. This is a team who just went undefeated and won a championship. And it literally looked like every single person on that defense was fiending to make a play. Like fiending to make a tackle. That is how you have to play football. Now, it's also not all about, oh, I'm just going to go run around as hard as I can, right? You can see how well coached all those guys are. Shout out to Coach Gambo, because all those guys know exactly where they're supposed to be. They know their reads. And when you can move on a football field with confidence, it's so different. And I see E nod. I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like when you're in the game, you have a feel of what's going on. That's just really what they look like. And Jaleel Parnell, I went back and did the stats myself, so take it with a grain of salt. This is an interior lineman / edge rusher, whatever you want to call him. I have him at 12 tackles.
Balled
Yeah.
12
out.
tackles.
Balled out.
Yeah.
Are you serious? And he was on the bottom of, let's call it 30 piles. You know what I'm saying? Jared Surratt, listen, we talk about this guy all the time. 3 sacks. I had him at 6 tackles. I'll pass the baton to you here. I mean, this Curtis
Yeah,
defense, man.
so I'll start with big number 3. It's funny because on the ride home from the Eho game, I'm talking with 5-star. Shout out to Gabe, and I said,
Yeah, shout out to Gabe.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jared has 15 plus sacks, and I'm like, bro, he can easily have 3 plus a game, and that wouldn't surprise me at all, So, but I feel like just like you guys mentioned, that Curtis group, their aura, their energy like that is contagious. The way they play as a group, they're swarming to the ball, and they're making big plays. Everyone's getting fired up. You can't teach that energy, so
Mhm.
you gotta tip your hat to Coach Gambo and that coach over there. And that kid from Moore who transferred, what was his name? Jaden Melendez. He made a really nice
Yeah.
play.
Yes. Yes.
That was real sick. Shout out to Lars. They posted that on their page. That was awesome. That was good to see because with Evan and guys like that no longer there, they have shoes to fill on the offensive side of the ball in terms of playmakers. So that was a hell of a play by him. There's another kid, number 9. What's this kid's name? He was definitely on defense as well. He's a younger kid. I feel like he's gonna step in and make a whole lot of plays as well. He was on the D line as well. But yeah, that
Yes,
Curtis
no,
group.
he played the
He
up back / fullback last year. I like this
Yes,
kid a
yes, he
lot.
been
So,
there. He
by
been
the
there.
way,
What's
guys,
this
there are
kid's
no
name? Hold on.
rosters. Yeah, there are no rosters out right now, so we're kind of it's kind
Yeah,
of tough
in
right
terms
now.
of the names,
So
yeah.
please make sure you tell us their names. I
Charles
will look I
Simmons.
will look this player up.
Charles Simmons is his name. I feel like he's
Charles
gonna have a
Simmons,
big
yes.
year.
Mhm.
He's been on varsity. I feel like now this year he's gonna put himself on a map and put himself out there this year. Um, Vinny looked very comfortable at quarterback. So yeah, the Warriors are just picking up right where they left off. Literally, that's I think that's the easiest way to describe
Yeah.
Curtis and what they were doing. They're just picking up right where they left off. And I seen a post on Facebook that made me think they should have played Iona Prep. Now we can only
All right.
imagine
Let's
what
settle
that
down.
game.
Let's
I
settle
don't
down.
I don't know if that's a reach, but you know, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. I know Iona is stacked as well, and but that made me think a little. Like,
Oh.
how would that game go? You know, because somebody said, why the defending champs playing St. Peter's? They should have played Iona. And I thought about it. I said, I would love to see that game, but we may never know. We may never
Real quick
know with
before I
that
let
one.
Jared get on, Movie Chase
No,
Academy.
it's
I'm
true. I
assuming
mean,
this is
I would
next
like them
week.
to. I definitely think Curtis should have played a AAA team though. Whether it's Iona, Farrell, I definitely agree with that. I think that's what we need. I would have liked to see that as well. So I do agree with that.
Yeah. I hope. Yeah, Farrell Curtis. When was the last time that even happened?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think Farrell should play against Tottenville or Curtis. Like I think Staten Island would explode for one of those games. You know.
Seriously.
Yep, that sounds like a.
Yeah, so move the chains. Assuming this is Mac. Really appreciate you becoming a member. I'm gonna make sure I did not skip over that. Charles Simmons, making sure that Charles Simmons, linebacker, gets his
Charles
credit.
Simmons,
Yes.
okay. I know he's been on
And
varsity
one
since a
thing I just
freshman,
thought
I
of too.
believe. I believe he's been on varsity since a freshman.
Oh
I've
wow.
always been seeing number 9. Yeah, he's been on varsity, I think, since a freshman. But I feel like now
Yeah,
that this is the year where he's gonna flourish and actually, get his name out there.
and just think about it. Like he was a backup linebacker last year. You know what I'm saying? Like he couldn't get on the field on defense because of how good those guys were. And watching him, I'm like, wow, this was your fifth linebacker last year. Like he looked great.
It says about
He
how
seriously
loaded
looked
they were.
great. So
Yeah,
huge shout out to Charles. Um,
varsity since the
so
9th
yeah,
grade.
so
Yep, I
I
knew
know
that. Yep.
you touched on it a bit, so I'll throw it to Jared just to talk about how the Warriors looked offensively.
Yeah, I mean, kind of building off what you said, Vin, like he obviously did what he did in the championship game and he looked good again. But one of the main players that, I'm just super excited about was Jaden Melendez. Like I was trying to tell
Yeah.
people, when he decided to go to Curtis, I was like, this is a big deal for the PSAL. Like he was a guy who was always consistent for more Catholic, always making plays. And, now with even more varsity experience under his belt, like he could have a huge season for, a Curtis team that's, always good offensively. So now you got him in the mix. That's a big time impactful transfer right there. And yeah, also like I think one of the biggest things for Curtis, just in general, whether it's the offensive line or whether it's the linebackers, like they had a great senior class last season, and you have guys that are just filling those shoes and playing well. So that's always a challenge. And trust me, St. Peter's is a good team. Like on defense, they have like
Yes.
Nick Neer, they have Chris Badon, like they have studs, and of course I mentioned their offense already. So to shut them out, like people are like, oh, it's like a double A team. Like, no, St. Peter's is a very good football team.
A team that
Curtis
was in the
is
championship
also
game.
really, really good. Like this Curtis team, I mean, they're one of the best in the state for sure.
Yeah, and that's something I got a lot too. They're like, "Oh, Curtis like really shut out Peters. Peters is no good." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! Peters was in the championship game last year.
No,
If
they're
you
good.
watch the
They're
game, you can see that they were really trying to do some stuff, and there were moments in the game where they were able to circumvent the Curtis pressure. A lot of like running backs coming out of the backfield and stuff like that. But I made sure I wrote this down because I wanted to say this. You are not going to be able to survive a Curtis game if you can't throw the ball. It's as simple as that. Curtis, it's not rocket science what Curtis is doing. Curtis is saying, yo, our two guys up front are incredible. We're going to bring our two linebackers up, and we dare you to beat us. If you want to beat Curtis, you're going to have a quarterback that's going to stand in there, throw the slant, throw the bubble, throw the quick route to at least get them to get the dogs off of the line of scrimmage. Because Peters was able to do it in moments. And remember, if you guys rewatch that game, they actually did drive down the field. I think they got a big penalty, but then they fumbled the ball. I think they were down 10-0 at that point. That was a big turning point in the game. But Peters was able to rip off some big runs and big throws by seeing where the pressure is coming from. And of course, when you have that 3-man front, it is very tricky to see exactly where the pressure is coming from. But Curtis definitely put out you know, a landmark of what they're trying to do. And it's the same thing we saw last year. We dare you to throw against us because you're not running against us. Did you see them the same way, E?
Yes, definitely. I feel like you said, if you can't, generate some type of pass game against Curtis, it's gonna be a long day for you. Up front they dominate the trenches. I feel like they're gonna do that against just about everyone they play. I can't wait to see how they do against North Rockland this week. I know that they
Mm-hmm.
were they won the
game.
championship in their respective league. So I feel like that's gonna be another test for Curtis. But in terms of the PSAL talent, yeah, that's their formula, and they're sticking to that. So let's see how they look this week against a opponent on the road upstate Friday night. But yep, like you said, their formula is their formula, and it's gonna be a long day for most PSAL offensive lines going up against Curtis for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And to talk about the quarterbacks, I know we touched on them. I think that we should definitely have some patience with the quarterbacks across the league, honestly. I think, in a week -1, week 0, whatever you want to call it, I think the passing game is always going to develop slower than the running game, mainly because no matter how much you simulate in practice and in camp, you're not really hitting the quarterback, right? So when you're out on the football field, you can't get hit. Like the mentality is just completely different. You can't simulate you
Get
having to make a play
it?
while someone's trying to rip your head off,
Yeah, yeah.
unless someone's trying to rip your head off. So, of course, the running backs, they have game simulation all the time. You can hit the running backs, da da da. So I definitely think that we should have patience with the quarterbacks. Um, of course, you have Caratelli, you have Canzaneri battling it out to see who's going to be the starting quarterback. I think I saw someone who even said, oh, Curtis should have scored even more on Peters. Um, like I said, I think I was like really happy with how a lot of teams played, and we'll talk about it later. Teams really tried stuff. The teams didn't just go out and say, okay, this is our bread and butter. Let's like try to win the game by 50. Like, no, like I saw a lot of teams, especially, the top 3 teams, the Curtis, the E Hall and Tottenville, which we'll get into. They tried a lot of different things, which I really appreciated. So, especially early on in this year, you can't expect these teams to be at 100 right now. And I just want to highlight one play from Vinny in particular. It was a 4th and 14 from the 29-yard line. So this is a touchdown throw, to make it 17-0. And like I said, it's a 4th and 14. Vinny slides up into the pocket, moves to the left, throws it down the field, and it was number 8. Could someone please tell me number 8 what his name is?
Yeah,
Number
number
8
8.
makes a great catch in the end zone for the last score. And I feel like Vinny really, really had a great game. I thought Ant came out a little slow, but again, I think it's not time to put those judgments out completely yet, because I feel like we should be patient with the quarterbacks, especially in week -1. Jared, what do you think?
I just love the term week -1. Sorry, I haven't heard it. It's good. It's good. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, we've all been watching high school football for a while. Week 0 football, especially here in New York, with how late we start and everything, or week -1, I should say. Like this is the story of it. Like you see some sloppiness, and especially when it comes to execution in the pass game, this is a story every single year amongst teams. So yeah, I'm not really getting too excited about the QB position just yet. But yeah, I kind of like the lot from some teams. Some other teams, we're going to talk about it later in the podcast, and it was, but there's still positive spots. Obviously, we're all positive here, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun, but yeah, so not really getting too excited, but overall though, with Curtis and St. Peter's and both of their respective divisions, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for both of them.
All right. Thank you. Toriano Lewis. Is he an underclassman? Because that name does not ring a bell.
Yeah,
Toriano
Toriano
Lewis,
Lewis,
number
yeah.
8. He is the one who made the touchdown catch to make it 17-0. That was a really good catch. Really had to make sure he kept his hands underneath the ball. Great concentration there. So, Curtis, they have some weapons for sure. Deli, definitely stay on. Nice to see you, Deli. We're about to talk about you in a second. Oh my God, GG's in the
GG in the
chat.
He's in the
He's
chat.
in the chat. What's the word? And I will give you the last word on Curtis E, but could not leave this without giving a huge shout out to Quadair Gomez, number one.
Mhm.
Quadair, he's been in the weight room, man. I could see it. He's been in the weight room. He looks great. I can't remember one person tackling Quadair on Saturday, and if they did, he made sure they felt him. You know what I'm saying? Quadair looked great. I definitely want to highlight a 4th and 5 play midfield. He's going to the right. The hole's not there, and he makes something happen and gets about a 7-yard gain on a 4th and 5. So huge shout out to Quadair. He looks great. I feel like he's a player just like Jaleel. Jaleel, you are no longer underrated. I don't want to hear no underrated posts. I don't want to see nothing in your Instagram saying, yo, this is the year they gotta. We know, Jaleel. But Quadair, yo, he might be someone that, feels a little underrated. So last year, if it wasn't for injury, I did say it on this podcast, like, yo, Quadair is definitely can be one of the best players in this whole league. But the injury definitely hurt him at the end of the year. Mike Terry just became a member. Really appreciate you, man. Make sure you use your member-only emojis, just like the one we have here. If you're a Curtis fan. So really appreciate you, Mr. Terry, for becoming a member. Last words on this game?
Yeah, I think it was just very impressive, to see, like we all said already, Curtis just picking up where they left off. And I feel like offensively that they're going to be a better team than, most people expect. Because, I feel like most people in the city are expecting Curtis to be only dominant on the defensive side of the ball. But I definitely could see their offense getting in different types of grooves. So Curtis we'll take it 1 week at a time. But, my early prediction says I see them definitely making a nice long run this year for sure, for sure. I don't want to speak too soon, but yeah.
Yeah. No, like I said,
Definitely,
you could overreact if you want to. You're free to do it. I know I said I'd give you the last word, but I will just steal the last word real back. Definitely hoping Will Andrade. Hopefully you're doing okay. I haven't seen any updates. He got looked like he had an injury at the beginning of the second half. That's a player that I was really excited. He had a good first half too. He had a sack or at least a tackle for loss. I saw that. So yeah, definitely hoping Will Andrade is doing well. And if you're not, keep your head up. You're going to be back soon. All right. Next game. Let me make sure I see a certain Ed Wilson in the chat. He is there.
Man.
The next game, or should I say the next scrimmage? The next scrimmage.
Yeah, there it is. Good.
The most popular scrimmage ever.
Wow.
Cardinal Hayes 18, Erasmus Hall 14. Get to that. This was quite the game. There was a lot of madness going on in this game, only to be expected. Someone please tell me if someone in the chat can tell me the name of number 4, the quarterback for Cardinal Hayes. I tried to go to Max Prep, so he wasn't on Max Prep. So
Johnny,
please.
Johnny Booker.
Is it Johnny?
Yeah.
Johnny Booker.
And that's not the New Jersey transfer that they had that I thought was going to play either.
Shout out to Amir. I just saw your face palming. We'll talk about the E-Hall side, but listen, man. You said his name is Johnny, right?
Johnny Booker, yep.
That's the backup? That's the backup? He was looking all right.
Exactly. That's what they saying. Backup. Yeah, that boy was playing.
Yeah. Huge shout out to him. I thought he just had so much control of the offense. It looked like nothing was moving too fast for him. There were some throws I'm sure he wanted to get back, but I was really impressed on his decision making, especially in an offense like that that's running a lot of RPOs, a lot of decisions to be made for the quarterback. I thought he did a great job, so I just wanted to have a second to shout him out. And I'm going to throw it over to E because I know Mr. Hedges is someone that you like a lot, and
Yeah,
he
definitely.
showed a lot in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I've been watching Hedges since youth ball. Um, and coming into this season, all I was hearing was what he did on JV. I believe close to 2,000 rushing yards on JV. Um, and everyone was saying he's gonna be that guy now on varsity. I knew what he was capable of. He's very talented. And Hedges is a tough guy to tackle. He had a few very good runs against E Hall. Like you mentioned already, Johnny Booker, I feel like he had good control of that offense for Hayes. Samaj, shout out to Samaj Lowe, former
Shout out to
PSAL guy,
Samaj.
with a very big touchdown catch. Very exciting game, but one thing I would mention is that I wasn't a fan of, and I know the masses would probably agree with me, is that 6-minute fourth quarter, I wasn't a fan of that. Especially in a game where it ends in a 4-point difference, because now that leaves a lot of questions up in the air. What could have happened? A lot of things could happen in the full quarter. Yeah, but in terms of Hayes, they were very impressive. I'll just start with Hayes. Yeah, Hayes was definitely a very impressive, well-coached group for sure.
Your thoughts on Hayes and their performance in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I love how you mentioned Samaj Lowe. I'm a huge believer in his game. I think he's gonna do great things in the AAA this year. But for he's like one of the big things, because if I'm not mistaken, like I think like Johnny Booker obviously showed to be a good quarterback. I thought I saw he was an athlete, so like he might be used in other ways, and he's obviously a very athletic player. But if that's the case, then they did all this without Kyle, who might be their starting quarterback from at least what I've heard. So like, I mean, the fact that you're going in against a powerhouse like Erasmus Hall, and you're up like that without your supposed starting quarterback, that's impressive to begin with. And I wasn't at this game, and unfortunately there was no live stream. I still have to tap into the rest of E's video on it, but from what I saw, man, I mean, Cardinal Hayes is another team like Curtis, but Hayes is even more. Hayes graduated like everybody. They
Yeah.
brought back literally nothing. Like, I don't think a person who caught a pass last year like is on this team. It's something crazy like that. And you lose
Wow.
the Beelan brothers. The last time Cardinal Hayes had a starting quarterback that didn't have the last name Beelan, like it was probably like 7 years ago or something like that. I
Wow.
mean, it's pretty crazy. So that's that. But yeah, Hayes, they look good, man. It's impressive stuff.
One other thing I want to mention too about Hayes, Andre, is I don't know some of these guys' names, but up front, I feel like they had some guys on the D line. I feel like they definitely won that battle up front. They were making it hard for Ehor to get that running game going for majority of the game. There was a kid number 9, number 11. There was a few guys up front who were making plays for that Hayes D line. So I feel like they definitely won that battle up front against Ehor for sure.
Yeah, and just huge shout out to the whole coaching staff. You see how well coached that front seven was. Like their play recognition was just like, you know, just a huge, yeah. I love this. Let me make sure I shout this out for sure. And again, another huge shout out to Coach Egg because he's so important when it comes to the JV. Like that's what's so important of having a solid JV.
Michael
Jay,
Gill, number 11.
It's
Yeah,
so
he
important.
was
Yeah.
playing. He was playing. Michael Gill made some plays. Yup.
yeah, Jay White with the $1. Make sure you get a in your super chat. You type so you can get your little super message. Really appreciate that, man. So yeah, so number 11 was Michael Gill. Hopefully that is correct. But Yeah, it's all, and that's what's so important about a program. Just like Jared said, you graduate so many players, and boom, you come right in, and you're competing with one of the best teams in all of New York. So that was a tremendous job. And I don't have this player's name as well, but number 17, that head tap.
Yeah, that catch. His name is Eric. What's his
Oh,
last name? Yeah, that was a great play before the half. Yup. His
yeah,
name is. I know
tremendous.
his
And
first name is Eric.
his first name is Eric. Okay, so huge shout out to Eric in that catch. And I want to start a slogan: bring tight ends back. Bring tight ends back in New York football. I watch a lot of football, and I feel like this position is people just don't utilize it around here. Aiden Howard, number 3.
Yeah, he
I
made
thought
a
he was
few nice plays.
He's
tremendous.
He
gonna he's
did.
gonna
He
be a
did.
problem. Yeah.
He made
He
some.
is, I know
Eric
he's a transfer
Drobnak. Shout out
in.
to GG. Yup, Eric Drobnak
That
is
is
his
number
name.
17.
Yes.
Okay. Shout out to Eric. But yes, please bring back tight ends. Aiden was blocking a whole lot. And then when he was creeping out, they conditioned him. He's coming across formation, he's blocking. He's coming across a formation, he's blocking. Then he comes across a formation, boom, he's slipping out.
He leaks out. Yeah.
Easy 6-7 yards. And then there's another play. Again, he slips out and he had a big run up the left sideline. I think it was like a 20, 30-yard gain.
He
And he's a
broke a
big
few
kid. He's
tackles.
hard to,
Yeah. He broke a
keep
few
dragging
tackles.
people, literally. And, Aiden Howard is a, tremendous athlete. But every school has, a player like Aiden Howard that's like a big kid that can move. Like, please utilize the tight ends, especially with the quarterbacks. Like, a tight end is a cliche. It's a cliche for a reason. A tight end is a quarterback's best friend.
Yes,
You
sir.
know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like,
sir.
it needs to be utilized more in the PSAL. E, what do you think about that as someone who played in the PSAL?
Yeah, absolutely. You can never, first of all, blocking tight end, like you said, you gotta tip your hat to those tight ends that block. And a receiving tight end is automatically a mismatch. You see this kid Aiden. This kid is probably 6'4". I'll give him a little over 200 pounds. Some DBs don't want to tackle a kid like that. That's why you see him dragging kids along, and he'll catch a 4-yard pass, and that turns to 25 yards. Because that's a tough kid to tackle. So if you have the luxury of having a kid like that on your team, you should maximize that and use it for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
and the most underrated thing that you would kind of really need to know, like you would really know if you played D-back, is the biggest issue with tight ends are their catch radius and how wide they are. Like, I've played against players that, I'm right there on the throw, but my arm, I literally cannot get to the ball. Like, he extends his hands like this. Oh God, I'm throwing up the rock right now. But like, he extends his hands, and like, I'm freaking 5'9", 5'10". I just can't reach him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he literally just boxes me out. So it's just something I don't see enough, especially in PSAL offenses. I don't see the tight end being used enough. So hopefully my plea really gets people to use the tight ends more. But yes, the Erasmus Hall side of this, Jared, how about I let you start off the Erasmus Hall side of it?
Yeah.
Shout
So
out to Aiden in the chat, man.
Yeah. Shout out to
Yeah, so
Aiden.
from the
Pulled
action
up.
that I did see, so yeah, Kendu and Tommy both get in action. Obviously, that's still quarterback situation going on there. I'm pretty excited to see how that unfolds. And one of the throws that Kendu made over to Victor, which
Tremendous.
That
yeah,
was a dot. That was a dot. Yup.
it was a dime, and it just like I've seen Victor this offseason, and he was incredible, and now he's doing it. He was doing it against Cardinal Hayes a little bit right there. So I'm really excited to really see what he can do, because he's the type of player where he can really like take over the PSAL, and I don't say that lightly. Like from the wide receiver position, like at least just be a game changer. I think he's honestly that talented. But yeah, E-Hall, one of their touchdowns was also crazy. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah,
Talk about
First
that.
of all, I was
what's
going to
his
give
name?
him his own
Yeah,
section,
yeah.
but we'll
That
talk
was
about that.
unreal.
Where
Like
Deli
you got
scooped it
like
up and
he
shout
pitched
out
it.
he was at the
Yeah.
game. He definitely this segment he'll know more than me, as there's obviously other games that I watched the full stream from start to end. But yeah, I mean, if you guys talk about that touchdown, it's crazy.
Yeah, that was great awareness by Deli. You know, he
Yeah,
pitched it
what?
to David, and yeah, that was awesome for sure. That was that was dope. That was dope. That was the first score. Look, he's laughing right now.
Yo, that was
Yeah, because I was like,
That was the first score
the
for
awareness
Eagle.
of that play was
Yeah, that was
tremendous.
dope. That was dope. That was
yeah.
dope.
No, but while we're on the subject, I definitely wrote this down to have this. Listen, Kendall Brown, I feel like he really, if I think
Balled
about
out.
everyone on this field, yeah, I'm just trying to think. To be honest, as an individual performance in that day, yeah, I think I can say this. As as far as an individual, I really thought Delhi had the best individual performance. Hayes or Hayes or Erasmus Hall. You know, Delhi was all over the field. He was in on every single tackle. His play recognition was tremendous. Obviously, he had that crazy fumble recovery to lateral. Um, and it just feels like I was just watching Delhi, and I kind of felt like, okay, this is a player that's been on the varsity for some years, and it's like this is his time. You know what I'm saying? Like
Balling.
I just felt like everything was clicking. Every step he was making was the right step. We are going to talk about some other defensive players that I was really impressed with. Obviously, Jaleel and Jarrett, but you know, Kendall was definitely a standout for me. Absolutely. What do you think about that, E?
Yeah, definitely. I felt like as a whole, the whole E-Hall linebacking core played very well. Um, the transfer from Hayes, Brandon
Yes.
Garcia, number one. He definitely stood out to me. I'm watching the game. I'm like, yo, who's this number one kid? I had to do my research on him, but I feel like he's definitely gonna make a big impact this year for E-Hall. Um, you have there was also a guy on the D line, number 82. He been there.
Xavier Hughes, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
he had I think 2 or 3 sacks. He was very active on the E-Hall D line. Um, and I feel like we can all expect the E-Hall defense as a whole to be very stingy this year, like they've always been. And very productive for sure. But just I feel like the DBs have to tighten up a bit. You know, I feel like the DBs could play. They can play better than what they did against Hayes for sure. But I'm not really worried about it because the caliber of talent from these guys. But overall, the defense was definitely solid for me.
And I actually like that you brought that up because I think Hayes is a really, really good game to start with, especially for a defensive back. All right, I haven't made it a secret. I am not a fan of 7-on-7. One of the reasons why I'm not a fan of 7-on-7 is because football, as I'm sure people know, football is a really big mental game. If you can't get hit, that takes away a good portion of football because you have to perform while having the threat of getting hit. If there is no threat to run, then it's much easier to play D-back because then you don't even have to think about coming up and making a tackle, especially if you're going up against someone like the running back from Hayes. So especially in an offense that's running these RPOs is making you think a lot. You really have to be sharp. On one of the plays where the Hayes quarterback, I think it was in the first drive, I think, or first or second drive, he overthrew a guy running wide open. And the main reasons why, the guy was running open is because the safety is looking into the backfield, got caught looking into the backfield.
Mhm,
Boom. These guys are too fast or too talented. He's past you. This
mhm.
is something you just cannot simulate in 7-on-7. You can't. So again, just like I said with the quarterbacks, I think that the secondary also needs to kind of get up to speed a bit. And honestly, yeah, Carl, I didn't even. I mean, I didn't even think of this most simple aspect of it. Well, he said playing with equipment is much easier than playing without equipment. Playing with equipment is easier.
Yeah, nah, I don't know about that. No, I don't
Maybe
know
he
about
missed
that.
Yeah, no,
Playing
yeah,
with
I don't,
equipment
yeah.
is much easier than playing without equipment.
Maybe you
Nah.
mean it the other way around. Just maybe
Yeah.
the other way
Yeah,
around, right?
that's what I think. Because my favorite thing with not
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
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 yeah. Okay, there
yeah,
you go.
all right.
yeah.
Now we
'Cause
got you. Yeah.
not to go on a 7-on-7 rant, but one of my favorite things when I used to cover 7-on-7s was I would see teams just put out all defensive backs, like, as linebackers, and I'm like, that's not, like, a thing."
That's not a realistic situation.
Like, you
Yeah.
can't put, but it is what it is.
Again, I know that there's value to it. I do understand, and I know that there's value to 7-on-7, but
This one guy I
not
want
for
to
me.
shout out though, guys. Look, one guy I want to shout out on E-Hall's offense is the running back number 22.
Mhm.
Um
Yes, yes.
What's this guy's name? Jair
Jair,
Lewis.
yeah, Lewis, yeah.
Now he's a
Wow.
guy who's been around. I remember him. I remember his body structure. But I feel like this year that him and Amir are gonna be a nice 1-2 punch. He had a really nice TD run. He had a block where he killed some Hayes linebacker. Um, but I really feel like this year is when he's gonna get an opportunity to get a nice amount of playing time, and I feel like he's gonna definitely flourish this year. And it's his senior year, so it's like, yeah, I feel like he's definitely gonna make some noise this year.
Yeah.
Jair Lewis, yep.
No, that's actually huge as well because listen, like E-Hall, they obviously really like to run the ball. To have, a complimentary back like that is huge because I mean, listen, it also keeps Amir more fresh. You
Yes.
can't just run your star running back into the ground, especially against like
Yes.
a really physical schedule and everything. And Jair, he's earned it, man. People told me he looked really good in this game against Hayes. So it's very exciting stuff, man. And if you could form that duo, if you have multiple guys who are just such threats carrying the ball, that's why a lot of teams, when they're playing in December, that's why they are. That's why they're playing there.
Yes, sir.
And I just want to give a huge shout out to the offensive coordinators because, again, I felt like these guys really tried a lot. They weren't just comfortable, like, okay, we have Amir going to Temple. Let's give the ball to Amir 30 times. Listen, we know Amir is excellent. We know Amir is excellent. Right. We know Hedges is excellent. I really felt like both offensive coordinators really tried a lot. Especially E-Hall, they're trying to solidify who their quarterback's going to be. I feel like they gave both quarterbacks equal opportunity to make some plays. Both of them did some good things. Both of them made some mistakes. And on the same side, for Cardinal Hayes, look at how much information they got out of that game because they weren't just so okay. Let's hand the ball to Hedges because we know he's great. Now they know, like, yo, if number 4 is the backup or if he's our starter, we're okay. So huge shout out for them to the offensive coordinators for being daring in this game for sure. Guys, any last words on this game?
Um, I wouldn't be too worried if I'm E-Hall, I feel like they have a very solid overall group. The big question is obviously, the quarterback situation. But I feel like both of those quarterbacks have potential. That's not an easy decision to make for offensive coordinator when the season is right here, and you're kind of scratching your head on who's your guy. I'm not sure if that's how Coach Wheeler feels, but I feel like overall as a group, E-Hall doesn't have much to worry about because defensively they're a very solid bunch. So they'll be in every game that they're playing this year just because of their defense. So yeah, and I feel like Hayes is definitely a very solid bunch as well. So that was just a very good game to see, in my opinion. I think they'll be fine as well in the Catholic League.
Garrett, anything else on this game?
I think, just from a media perspective of just everyone, talking about it, like it was great. A lot of great athletes came together, but there's still 6 more minutes on the clock. Hopefully next year it's a real game. But it was fun, man. It showed a lot of potential for both these teams. And yeah, they're both, similar like I said about the prior matchup, man. They're both gonna do great things in their own league. So I'm pumped for it.
One last thing,
Absolutely.
with
Go
my
ahead.
Hayes, I forgot to shout out their DBs. Shout out to Isaiah Jones, number 6. That's a former PSAL kid at Canarsie. He was out there making plays.
Oh,
He had a forced fumble. He was very active out there. They had the DB number 12 is very solid as well. We still
he
got to
got the
get their names
interception.
right. Exactly. We still got to get their names right. And shout out to, Jeremiah Jackman. That's another former city kid. He
Can be
played for the
good.
Brooklyn Chiefs, but he's only a sophomore. So, a bright future definitely for Hayes. Definitely. A lot of good young talent. So shout out to them.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be excited to watch Hayes all season long. So we gotta take a trip to Jersey to go over Tottenville and
Tottenville.
Manalapan. I mean,
Yes.
I think everyone beside Al should know why I'm laughing. E knows why I'm laughing. Jared knows why I'm laughing.
Oh my god.
This was absolutely insane.
I kind of lost my mind while watching this game.
Yeah.
But it made sense for this to be the first New York City football game of the season to have this type of game. So it made sense.
Oh man. All right.
Crazy is an understatement.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
Tyshawn Ben,
things will
he's
get
good.
in.
All right. Anything else to go over, guys?
Add Corey Brown into that too, right? Just add him in there
yeah,
too.
I mean,
Listen, man. These guys are
Whoa,
great,
look what
man.
Lars just said. Look what Lars just said.
Lars trying to stir it up in here, man.
What?
What did he say? He said
Nah.
T-Bill is dropping in the power rankings.
I mean, they might.
Nah.
All right, so let me Lars, before you make the graphic, how about you let us just hear what we have to say first. So first of all, this game could have been 36-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Exactly, Dre. Yeah.
This game was not that close.
Yeah. The score doesn't dictate.
I know a lot of people didn't get to see it. I'm sure it's like, oh, it's Tottenville. Let's poke fun at Tottenville. This game wasn't that close. Tyshawn, like I said, the Stony Brook commit is excellent. He proved he was excellent. The balance, the breakaway speed. I think he scored two touchdowns in his first 9 touches, maybe something like that.
Yep, 2 touchdowns in his first, like you said, about 9 touches. Tottenville had 22 points in the first quarter, 22 to donut. We were telling each other like, yo, bro, this is looking 50 piece. Like at
It
this
should have been, honestly. But
like
we'll get to that.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Corey Brown, of course. Like, I have a good picture of it, but someone's trying to tackle Corey, just bounces off of him, 60-yard touchdown. It's 22-0, and what people forget all the time, like they forget the flow of a game, right? So it's 22-0, and Manalapan is punting to Tottenville. You know what I'm saying? And then, the punt gets muffed. And then that's how they scored their first touchdown. So we're talking that this could have gotten ugly really, really quick. Let me see what Laura said here.
Yeah, I agree with him on that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Special teams were terrible.
It was tough.
Special teams.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So the punt gets muffed. They score a touchdown. I don't even remember what happened in the rest of the half. I think Tottenville's offense sputtered a bit after the muffed punt.
Yeah.
But how about just talk about just how special Tyshawn and Corey are.
Yeah, they finished with 400 plus 4 total touchdowns. I think, similar to what we mentioned with Curtis and their group, this duo they're picking up right where they left off as well. And I feel like it's going to be a very exciting year because for the simple fact that if you slow one down, you're not gonna slow both down. I just don't see that happening against any PSAL talent. You might be able to slow one down, but the other one to get off. And then you're gonna have games where they both get off. And I'm just happy that I could see both of these guys do their thing. But I think Tyshawn is prepped to have a hell of a senior year for sure. Like
And
he
I
might
actually
put up
forgot.
some
Oh, go ahead.
ridiculous numbers. Like he might put up some ridiculous numbers. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised.
I forgot about the double handoff he took for 70 yards or 60 yards, whatever. That was
Yeah.
in the first half. Jared, just talk about these two guys, man. They're just incredible athletes, man.
Yeah, it's insane. Like when I was watching that first quarter, I was like, wow. I mean, this is going to be a serious problem for the entire PSAL. Tyshawn Bent, it's, he, even from when I saw him at the Rising Stars game to watching him against this Jersey school, it's like he just keeps on getting more athletic and just has a knack to make that big play. Then obviously Corey's so fast. It's really, really impressive stuff. And also a big shout out to Tottenville's offensive line. They graduated some great talent last year. Some guys that were on our all city list that graduated, but Tville, they just coach them up over there, man. And they were executing well, and it showed. And you give room to Tyshawn and Corey, they're gonna do their thing. So it was really impressive. And yeah, Tottenville's offense looked great. And for those who didn't watch this game, yeah, Tville could easily have scored a lot more in this game. It's just weird stuff. Weird
Look at
stuff
this for
happened, and here
Tyshawn.
we go. And that's another thing. I mean, they might have like they put in their second string defense at one point, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. We'll get to that.
That's when things started getting a little
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
How's the climb music go?
Yeah, it's man. How many onside kicks did Manalapan recover?
Yeah. Let's get to it. Yeah, so right before we get to a huge shout out to Nick Constantino. That's a player that I talk about a lot. It's a player that showed huge flashes in the first Tottenville E-Hall game. And I'm letting everybody know now, Nick Constantino is going to be on a lot of lists at the end of the year. He took a hitch route, made 3 people miss, 2 people miss, or something like that. He took it about 50 yards. That's the kind of player he is. He is, yeah, he might be the most dangerous player in space, to be honest with you, especially at like the wide receiver position. Huge shout out to Nick Constantino, and I want to give a huge shout out to Omar, number 7. I think it's Omar Melendez. Yes.
Omar Melendez.
He's gonna dominate the PSA.
Yeah.
Omar Melendez Jr. I put it on my story. That's definitely have a spotlight on him, along with Kendall Brown, along with Jaleel Parnell, and along with Jared Surratt. He was one of the standout defensive players, just all over the field. It could really, really be, a key piece for Tottenville and hopefully their title charge this year. Him, and then shout out to Nick Acosta. He's back after getting injured in the first game.
Him as well.
Having those two in the middle can really, really be so important for Tottenville. So all right. So Tottenville's up about 3 scores, and then what happens, E?
Yeah, they're up about 3 scores, and then that's when the the special team blunders started to happen. But honestly, that's unexplainable. That's unacceptable. I should say that's unexplainable. That's unacceptable in my opinion. Maybe one, it might happen in the game, but for 3 special team blunders to happen throughout a game is like, nah, we gotta. I know they were heavy on special teams in practice
Yes.
that week and going forward because there was no explanation for that. That game almost slipped out of their hands because of silly special teams mistakes. And that's really why the score ended up being what it was, But is it anything to stress or worry about? I don't think so. I think that's a fixable issue, but that's also the basics. So
Yeah. Yeah. Just madness. Just madness. And that's one of those things. It's week 0, week -1. you charge that to the game.
Yeah.
Jared,
Yeah.
quarterback play. Justin McGuire, what'd you think about Justin?
He had that pass. He had a touchdown pass to Nick Cosentino, right? Where he
Yeah, it was a
hit him and
hitch.
took him to the house for sure. So that was great. I mean, early on, I think he might have struggled a little bit, but that's also week 0 football, kind of like what I mentioned. But then, I mean, he was still like in command of the offense and everything. 4-year player for Tville, so
Mhm.
I got some pretty high expectations for him going forward. He's gonna be good.
Yeah, I thought he struggled for sure in the first half. I thought he settled in a bit when, you know, they got him some quick routes, some screens, some slants or whatever, the hitches. Um and just like I said before, shout out to the offensive coordinator for Tottenville because I really felt like, yes, we could have handed the ball to Tyshawn and Corey and scored 100 points. What would we have learned from that? I
Mhm.
felt like they really
Mhm.
got a chance for Justin to get those bad throws out of him, um, and to just like I said before, Tottenville. We're not judging Tottenville off of a week 0 game against Manalapan, right? Like we're all waiting for the E-Hall game. We're all waiting for the Curtis game. Not disrespecting anyone else. It's just the standard that we judged a team like Tottenville
Mhm.
with. And in those games, you know, and I think Jared said before, he's like, oh, like, no one, or maybe it was E, like, no one can really, if you can't stop Tyshawn, then you can't stop Corey. Well, Curtis did it last year. Tyshawn had the long catch. I think it was like a wheel or something like that he caught, but Jared Soretin, they shut him down. So it's very important for Justin to get those jitters out because he is going to have to stand in there just like he did a lot in that first E-Hall game. He's going to have to stand in there and make some throws, especially if he's going to want to beat Curtis.
That's something I just want to touch on what you just mentioned there, Andre. That's something that I noticed with Tottenville. Um, Other than Constantino, um, I didn't really see any other receivers who were playmakers. Now maybe these guys could prove me wrong. Um, but yeah, from what I observed, I think that may be an issue for Tottenville going down the line. What other receiver will step up and make plays other than Constantino? You know, so we shall see with that one.
Eric, final words in this game?
Pretty crazy. Honestly, if there's a replay for the stream, if you guys haven't seen it, I would actually just watch it because it's pretty entertaining. But other than that, man, like, yeah, Tottenville, they had their moments where they showed that, they're gonna have one of the best offenses in New York City. And honestly, that, like, without a doubt, one of the best run games in the state. I'll say that confidently. So it's good stuff right there.
All right. So I'm trying to see where to go to next. Some of these scores aren't great. So we're gonna take a quick pit stop to excuse me, a quick pit stop to I think Northwest Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. This is a good pivot.
Gonna say,
This is
yeah,
interesting.
we're not gonna go right into the mud yet. We're not
All right,
gonna
all right.
dive
I'm
right
glad
into
we
the
didn't go back to Staten Island for now. We're gonna get there, I bet, but
little detour, little detour. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, this is
When you think
more
about
fun.
you're in Jersey, you can get to Philly pretty quick from Jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so 43-18 Imhotep Eagle Brooklyn. Again, already had a public apology. I was supposed to live stream this game. Power, things just couldn't work out for it. So again, another apology for that. It's kind of last minute. It was as last minute as it was for you guys. It was last minute for me. But things should be good moving forward. So there's not really much we can say about this game. We're kind of trying to survive off of clips on Instagram. But the score was 21-18 going into the third quarter. which is tremendously impressive. If you guys aren't familiar with Imhotep, this is the number 8 team in Pennsylvania, according to Max Preps right now. They have a number of Power 5 offered players. So, it might sound like we're kind of giving Eagle Brooklyn a participation trophy, but listen, to be hanging with a team 21-18, and what did they do to? Wasn't the score pretty similar to last year when they played South Shore?
Nah, worse.
It was worse than this.
Yeah,
Okay,
It was
yeah,
worse,
no.
and this is a team that plays for championships in Pennsylvania in like a competitive league. Like for those who don't know, this is a very, very good football team that
Yep, there you
Eagle
go. I
played
heard the
against.
same thing.
And
Touchdowns got called back.
is
Eagle
it
was
2
hanging with.
touchdowns called back? Okay.
I mean, Zaire's in the chat right now. I mean, I didn't want to steal the thunder away from you guys, but real quick, I mean, Zaire was really impressive. If you haven't seen some of his clips yet, man, he is up to something. And I think he's going to be so dangerous in the PSAL. It looks like he's really going to take that leap from his freshman year to sophomore year, and it's very entertaining.
Yeah, and I definitely want to give a huge shout out to Martin, the quarterback for Eagle. I thought he made some great throws from the clips I saw. Like I said, we can't really talk about this game so much because we're running off of clips, and that's the kind of not what we do, right? If we didn't really see the game, we're not going to talk about it that much. But from the clips I saw, it looked like Martin was very composed in the pocket and made some great throws. And just like I said, this team has to, they're trying to build their momentum with so many new players. But in this league, like I said, if you're using Curtis as a measuring stick, you need to be able to throw the ball. You have to be able to throw the ball because they're going to sell out on the run. They're going to say, we are not going to call our dogs back until you prove you can throw it over them. So Martin definitely, I thought he looked solid. Shout out to Juju. Juju had some incredible catches again from what I saw from the 360p clips. From the
Dude,
looked like he made some nice catches.
yeah, yeah.
And hopefully we'll see them against Fordham Prep.
Juju
Anything
could
else,
play,
guys?
man. Juju,
No,
dude,
I feel like that's
yeah.
an Eagle bunch that's definitely going to surprise a lot of people this year. They probably have the best group of athletes in the city. I'm saying it now in terms of collectively with Zaire, Corey McCracken Jr., Juju, Tyler, and so on and so on. I feel like that's a group of athletes that's going to give the PSAL hell, to be honest with you. So it's putting up 18 against a Imhotep team is a great sign. Some people might look at the score and say, "Oh, they got whatever, they got belt," but it's like we said, it was 21-18 at one point. Touchdowns got called back. A lot of things happened in this game, but like I said, I feel like this group is definitely going to make a good run this year for sure.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
Man.
So, all right, let's start here. Let's start here next. All right. 40-14, Stepanac over Lincoln. All right. Going into the fourth quarter, I'm pretty sure the score was 40-0.
Yeah, they scored in like garbage time.
Jared, let you take this one.
Yeah, so all right, for those people who aren't that familiar with the Catholic League, I'm gonna give a quick little breakdown. Archbishop Stepanac, they're in contention for a state championship every single year, but last year it was a down year. It was bad. But when you watch this game, like it's hard not to think like, all right, Stepanac is back. I mean, they really looked like a machine in my opinion. Very, very well, put together. Their defense was flying all over the field. You know, they're big, they're fast, they're physical, and then offensively, a kid I just made a video on, actually, John Smith is a terrific running back. He had a couple
Whoa, his acceleration.
Yes,
Wow.
he already has a D2 offer. Like, I'm not going to be surprised if FCS schools, you know, come to him and be like, like, what's
he
up?
went
You
off.
know?
He went off.
He's really, really good. New York City kid, actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think he's he said he's from the Bronx, actually. So very, very cool.
Okay.
But kid is a stud. And then also Stepanac show that they could pass the ball. Their quarterback situation was a little bit of a mystery, much better than last year. Clearly, their QB, last name McNeil, he was throwing it all over the field. Jordan Eaton's a stud. I more so in this game thought that Stepanac looked really good and kind of gave me flashbacks to what they were, and last season wasn't representative of that program. And Lincoln, in my opinion, kind of just ran into a hot team, but they still had flashes. I really I think Christian's gonna have a great year at quarterback.
Yeah.
I still think that after this game, I just think, you know, Stepanac was all over the field. I think Christian's gonna have a great year. I also saw it and Jaden and Ron also made plays on defense. Like, I still think Lincoln's gonna be in the mix, but I was just more so really impressed with Stepanac.
Yeah, huge shout out to number 7 McNeil. On a 4th and 5 from like the 40-yard line, he had a dot for a touchdown. Really, really impressive. So huge shout out to him and the whole Stepanac team. By the way, guys, the program I use for the live stream is bugging out a bit, so I'm not gonna be able to put. I can still read the chats, but I just can't put them on the screen, unfortunately. So I will be able to read the chats. Is the chat still coming up for you guys?
Yeah.
You can still see the chat, right? It's updating for you
I
guys?
can see the chat, yeah.
Okay, all right. Just double checking that. Yeah. So let's see if I can put this one on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So mine isn't reloading. Yeah, mine isn't reloading though, so I can't put the new ones on. Just so you guys know. But yeah, you know, Stepanac. As a I too am a victim of a Stepanac beatdown. Playing at Kellenberg 15 years ago. So I do know how tough it is to make that far drop trip all the way up to White Plains. You know, you don't even know where you at. You know, I'm 60 years old. I didn't even know where White Plains was. It was a really tough place to go play, to be honest with you. So, and that level of Stepanac team is tough. Just like you said, Christian Borhe, again, you know, we brought it up at the beginning of the stream. Like, you know, there were some lopsided victories, but there are some certain things that we can take from these games if you watch them. And the way that Christian Borhe was throwing these 12-yard out routes was really, really, really impressive. Okay, all right. Look at me now.
They're moving it.
I agree.
Yeah, it was really impressive of how he was. It also just looked like he was pretty calm while there was madness going on in front of him, with how relentless that Stepanac defense was. And Jared, they have some studs on the D line too. They had some big guys on the D line.
I think they're gonna end up having like 2 of those defensive linemen are gonna play Division I football for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, I don't know if you
One
saw
of them's already gotten.
Like,
I think 2 of them will end up playing D1. Kamari Ginyard and Elias Murray are both really good. But we'll see. We'll see. They're great, but yeah, Lincoln was still moving. It's not like they were going backwards every single play. That's not the case at all, you know.
Yeah, I just want to shout out number 4 Alvarez and number 14 Ajani Baisley.
Made a snag Alvarez.
Alvarez. Yeah. I like him. I feel like he's gonna have a nice year, Alvarez. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously it's gonna be tough when you're replacing 2 players like Solomon Dakotu and, you know, Ja'Kai Paul. I mean, those are really big shoes to fill. But I did like how they looked. Of course, it's, you know, it's one of those games where you're just kind of outclassed. There's no other way I can really put it. You're just kind of outclassed everywhere. You got to hold it. You got to learn from it. And hopefully they can have a better showing next week. Sorry, I know I skipped over you a little bit. Anything on this game?
All good. Yeah, you know, like both of you guys mentioned, that Stepanac team probably had the fastest reload that we've seen in a while.
I've ever seen. How did go 0-10 over last?
Going from winless to is looking like that group that I've seen on that live stream. They definitely going to compete and win some ball games this year. They're not going to be winless this year, that's for sure. You know, but you know, it was I like you guys mentioned. I think Borey's going to be fine. That's one of the quarterbacks I like this year. He can make just about every throw. He's mobile. He can move. He can run. He could get out of there if he has to. It's one of those games where you tell your team, you tell your teammates, we go on to the next. You know, we're gonna keep this one pushing. You know, that's just the simplest way to put that. You don't stress this game. It's a non-league week 0 game. We on to the next with it now. Because
I'm sure it was a long.
They got Curtis week 1. They have
game of the
Curtis week 1, so it's like we got to get a good test in here. You know, we can't play no slouches. So sometimes you might need a little whooping like this because you playing the champs week 1. So you know.
Yeah. Again, just want to give a huge shout out to Ron Jones, number 57.
Yeah, big Ron
He
Jones.
was. Listen, of respect to the. How do I say this? Ron looked like. As I said that, you know, Stepanac outclassed Lincoln. They didn't outclass Ron. Like Ron did look like he was at the same level the Stepanac team was at.
Yeah, Ron is definitely a baller.
Huge shout out to him. He's just a player. He's just a player I just love to watch. Like I love how he plays football. I love how sideline to sideline he is. I thought he was reading the gaps well. He was shooting the gaps as best as he could, you know, with all that mess happening in front of him. And he should be another player that, you know, should be on some lists at the end of the year.
Yeah, Ron Jones could be productive in any high school football division in New York. I could say that for sure. He's a beast.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. So we're gonna go to Staten Island. Sorry, anything else on this game?
No, we can unfortunately go to.
Okay. So we're gonna go to Staten Island, but I'm not ready yet because there's certain people I need to see in the chat before we go to that part of Staten Island. So
I don't think they're gonna be in the chat, Dre. I think it's gonna be it's gonna be crickets.
You think the Parkway? This on the Parkway? They still celebrate Labor Day? There's certain people I need to see in the chat before I go to a certain part of Staten Island.
Oh man, it's all love. Don't worry.
We'll make a detour. We will make a detour.
New Dorp and Wagner.
How to go there? Oh man.
New Dorp 20. New Dorp 20. Wagner 8. If you don't know where we're looking, if you don't know, you don't know. Okay, so I'm not gonna say what I'm looking for. But you should know who we're looking for.
Give him a hint. Give him a hint.
His name starts with an L. All right. Anyway,
I don't think he gonna know.
New Dorp versus.
No, that's true. That's true. Probably won't know.
New Dorp versus Wagner.
It'll come out soon.
I think the main thing to take out of this game is New Dorp is running a new offense. You guys notice that? They're running a triple option offense now.
Yeah. Like they switching things up a little bit over there at New Dorp. You know, my guy's on the Parkway.
You're not worried about us, right? He said, "Nah, chill. I'm on the Parkway. Chill. I ain't trying to mess with Dre tonight." Yeah. So they're running a new offense. They're running a triple option. I think it's very interesting. I think it's okay, honestly. I think it's going to help them get more wins this season. New Dorp was one of the unfortunate 3. Wagner, New Dorp, and Port Richmond. They had that unbelievably tough schedule. And you know, like I always say, I think that 4 wins will get you into the playoffs. So I like it. I think the offense needs some time to gel a bit. I didn't see my guy JT Rose make a throw in this game. I know he's very capable of it, but you know, JT running a triple option, you know, he's a very athletic quarterback. So I'm very curious to see, if that gets them more wins. I want to give a huge shout out to number 4, Anthony Hernandez, who
Yeah, that was a
returned
nice
2 kicks for a
touchdown.
touchdown.
Yeah,
He returned 2 kicks. One was called back, unfortunately. I think he returned. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the opening kick he returned for a touchdown.
Yep. First play of the
Then he
game.
returned
Yep.
another one. So huge shout out to him. I'll throw it to you guys. And any word on this game, New Dorp Wagner?
I feel like this was this is a good momentum win for New Dorp, just to get your confidence right. You beat another fellow Staten Island school. Um, I'm just like you said, looking forward to see how they're gonna look this year with the new change in the offense. I feel like they got a great leader in JT Rose, like we spoke about before. Um, so yeah, I'm just looking forward to see what the Cougars are they gonna progress, or was this just a week 0 W against a Wagner team that's not really like that, So that's what I gotta pay attention to going forward with New Dorp. But a win is a win.
We will talk about Wagner though, because I if there's a Wagner representative, or I see Lars in the chat, maybe he would know. I think Wagner is running a new offense too. They're running like a true spread offense. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they were running that last year. I should go back and watch the Eagle Wagner game. But it looks like they're running a true spread offense. So I'm actually curious in how they do that. I know, Lars, we're not getting to Selly on the screen. Um,
Crazy. Yeah.
Wagner, it was good though. Wagner was in this game for a while. They had some opportunities that they squandered to get within one score. So I think I did like number 0, the quarterback for Wagner. Again, I think that the passing game is the last thing to develop. So I think, especially running an offense like that, I think it'll take some time for Wagner. But I was impressed with some of the things they were trying to do. Jared, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, good win for New Dorp. Yeah, I mean, they must be confident in their athletes running the ball. Must have some guys up front being able to block with this offensive switch and everything. So I'm pretty interested. But the way New Dorp's schedule lines up, they could get off to a pretty hot start potentially, and they could kind of get rolling. So they beat a fellow Borough team, Wagner. That's a lot of momentum. Every Staten Island game is personal. That's huge. Next week, I think they play Madison, who's in the 3A. That's a winnable game for New Dorp for sure. And then the week after, you get another Staten Island team. You play Port Richmond, who is a very good team, but it's going to be interesting because now it's like all of a sudden, if they're able to get another Staten Island win, start off 3-0,
Yeah, that'll be big.
that's a huge thing for New Dorp, man. I mean,
Yeah.
after, of course, they play some tough competition after that. You got E-Hall and stuff, but you start off 3-0 if you're New Dorp. I mean, it's all smiles over there.
Yeah, that'll be big time.
And it's doable. So we'll see what happens.
Quick, and again, I don't have the numbers. Just want to give a shout out to number 5 and number 9 on New Dorp. Thought they were really holding it down on the defensive end. So again, huge shout out to them. Send it to them, clip it to them, get me their names if there are any New Dorp representatives in the chat. But yeah, New Dorp, like I said, it's 4 wins. I think will get you into the playoffs. So let's see how they do with this new offense. All right, guys. Which part of Staten Island are we going to?
Let's rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go to let's go to Oakwood.
Rip the Band-Aid off?
Yeah.
All right.
Oakwood. Oh, man. Nah, Trey got me weak. That's oh man.
All right, South Shore High School. I know there are no representatives in the chat.
Damn.
I'm make myself full screen. Giving you guys a mulligan. Giving you guys a mulligan on this one. All right. I personally not going to judge what happened in this game. Giving you a mulligan. Next week, need to see much better. Still going to talk about it though. Jared Valluzzi, what did you see in this game?
Yeah, so I was obviously very intrigued by this. The entire first half. Farrell was up 38-0 at the end of the first half, to give some context there. It was a few things. Listen, I'll start off with Monsignor Farrell side of it. They came to play. If you haven't watched Farrell football before, like, they're very tough, very physical. Like, so much toughness, always good in the trenches, and their defense, they came to play, and it was it was very evident. And their offense this year has a little bit more juice to them because of the Moyes, and Kevin Gump is a great player. Like I said this in a video before, so Farrell did their thing, and they were really impressive. So I want to give credit to Farrell for sure. But also with South Shore, I don't necessarily think that was representative of that program. Like, they got off to a very slow start, and they were in a tough situation with so many new guys coming in. And yeah, unfortunately, their offensive line wasn't able to keep up with Farrell. Farrell is a great D line, and they had a hard time moving the ball. And listen, man, it was straight dominance for 48 minutes. It really was. So that's really all I could say about this. And the thing is, South Shore has a lot of talent on their roster, so I know that, like, it's gonna get there. It's just they weren't ready for week 0. Or week -1. It's not. Yeah, there's nothing really else to say about that.
Yeah, I just feel, well, I'll start with, like Jared said, I feel like they were just completely just outmatched, that's the simplest way to say it. Um, Farrell, yeah, Farrell was just better on all cylinders. But, just to think on the positive side of things, I feel like where you're at now in terms of the South Shore coaching staff, and where you need to improve, I should say. But just one red flag is, South Shore was a team that last year was one game away from a championship, and a championship appearance, I should say. And that Curtis team, is just as good, if not better. So if up front you're not you might have got worse up front, that's not a good sign. George, the quarterback, was pressured all game. It was a long day for him. I'm not even going to talk about defensively, South Shore defensively, but yeah, just the offensive line play was just not good. It was just, yeah. This is also a game where you just on to the next, on to the next. Because after Tottenville, I feel like South Shore's schedule is smooth sailing for the most part. So you could build momentum as the season goes on after you get these first couple of games out of the way, So you keep it pushing with this one too, in my opinion.
So my major concern is it's something I've brought up, talking to people before with this South Shore team is actually nothing on the offense. I think, Dave Legree is great mind. I think, even having a new quarterback in, I think he'll get that going. The main issue is, arguably they lost. All right, you can say they lost 80% of their offensive production. You could say that maybe, but I think even more importantly, they lost about 80% of their defensive production.
Yeah.
Christian Etienne, David Jacob, Daniel Germain. They made a lot of tackles, a lot of plays for the Vikings defense. And the clips I saw in this game were not encouraging. Like, I understand that, apparently there were players missing. I know, excuse me, what's the running back's name from Farrell again?
Kevin Gump.
Gump.
Crum? Is it Crum or
Gump? Like Gumb.
Yeah,
Gump. I
Grum.
thought it was Gump. Gumb.
Yeah, so he is he's a solid looking kid. I think that is a good litmus test to see the aggression of your defense, and it's jarring watching the Curtis game than watching some of the South Shore highlights, right? Where South Shore is playing with a desperation, and Curtis is playing with a desperation on defense, and I didn't see that kind of desperation to make a tackle, to make a play, to throw yourself in there that South Shore was doing. That from when I saw the South Shore clips, it's something that I think it can grow, but it's definitely something that you need in your DNA. With games like Tottenville, with games like Port Richmond, with games like Eagle Academy, with games like John F. Kennedy, just highlighting a few of those games where I know those teams can definitely run the ball. And South Shore wasn't great against the run last year. It is concerning. So South Shore, I think they easily had the poorest performance of the weekend. So they have, a lot of room to improve. But I think that team is coached too well. It has too many good people behind the scenes for them to let it go off the rails. So definitely have faith in them. But let me see. Is there next week matchup on there? Okay.
Yeah,
So I
I
don't know
was
who they're
just about
playing
to
next
act. I
week.
was just about to say that. Yeah, that's what we got to pay
Yeah,
attention
I
to.
don't know who they're
You
playing
know,
next week. But I know who they're playing in 2 weeks.
that's what we
Know
have
who
to
they're
pay
playing in 2 weeks.
attention to. After losing 45-0, I'm pretty sure they're getting some action. This up. Oh, no game. Okay, I was gonna say.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll have to see. Oh, so
That's what I thought. Yeah, and honestly, it's good for them though, in a sense. Maybe.
yeah,
I don't know,
yeah,
but
yeah. So sure.
Yeah. Listen,
Fine with their schedule.
I see what you're saying here,
I agree with
and
that.
I don't want to take anything away from Farrell. Farrell is a team that's always competing to be that 3, 4, 5 in the Catholic League AAA. But yeah, like I said, the concerning thing to me was the defense. So offense, listen, like I said, I'm giving South Shore a mulligan. I put myself full screen and said I'm giving them a mulligan. Right. I'm not going to overanalyze what happened in this game. We all know going up to Stepanac to Farrell is one of the toughest places to go to.
Yep.
So I am giving them a mulligan, but I am concerned on the defensive part. I really need to see a good performance against Tottenville. I need to see I even see talk about the young quarterback. I'm not talking about the quarterback. I'm talking about you don't need 5-star players to rally to the football.
To have effort, I agree with that. Yeah. To
Yeah,
not
I'm
look
not saying that they
defeated.
didn't play with effort. You know what I'm saying? It's just like there's a lot I didn't see in that game. So, anything else on this one?
I mean, just to be clear, I mean, we are giving still definitely for the Farrell fans out there, definitely still giving a lot of credit to the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions played.
just because.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and this is a team, and all three of us know that this year Farrell, like, they're legitimately in the chase for a AAA to get to the AAA
Absolutely.
championship.
Absolutely.
So
Shout
yeah,
out to
they did their thing
QB1.
for sure. But yeah.
So fun question for Jared. This is a really fun question to me. Hayes, I'm putting him on the spot. Hayes, Stepanac, Farrell, man. I mean, those three.
It's crazy.
From what you saw, I mean,
it's going to be really close. And I also would like.
We didn't even talk about Chaminade, right?
I was just going to say, I would also put Chaminade in there as well. And I don't think St. Anthony's is much above those teams either, like at all, honestly. Like,
wow.
I think it's, and Iona hasn't played yet, but if you want to get in this conversation, yeah, Iona Prep's is the top team for sure. I think they're the best team in the state. And then after that, after seeing, Stepanac and Hayes play well and Farrell play well and St. Anthony's, have a tough showing against, play tough against a Maryland team, like, and Chaminade is going to be good. It's like those 5 schools, it could be like right there with each other, man.
Wow.
And I wouldn't be surprised if someone out of those 5, like, ends up, giving Iona Prep a really hard time, maybe beating Iona Prep. Like, Those 5
I'm
schools are really, really good, and I think they're all pretty close. Like, I think this year, it could be very tight from 2 to 6, and who knows, maybe they even catch Iona Prep. That is possible, but I gotta see it to believe it, because last year that wasn't really, wasn't that much of the case, but yeah,
Yeah, I
Shamrock
think
plays APR. That's got a huge challenge for them next week. Huge. I might go to that game, we'll see, but APR, talk about challenging themselves. We'll talk about it next Monday with what happens there. It's going to be really, really tough.
Jared, watch your pick.
why you get so much smoke for Jerry? Like,
He,
what?
he loves doing that. Ed loves doing that.
Oh man, that's hilarious, man. But yeah, oh my god. I mean, I just thought about it as we're talking about Farrell. I'm like, oh my god, like every week in the Catholic League is just gonna be war. Like, Jesus.
APR JFK was 8-8 tie. Well,
Yeah, we'll get to that one. The thriller.
my final thoughts though, Dre, on that game
Oh,
is on
excuse
to
me.
the next.
Sorry.
Now you good, Dre.
No.
On to the next for South Shore. You know, after that week 1 game against Tottenville, like Coach Mack from Move the Chains mentioned in the comments, the schedule is kind of gets smooth, football is a game of momentum. You build your confidence up. One game at a time for the Vikings. They're a very young group. One game at a time. Get past that Tottenville game, and one at a time.
Yeah, I actually disagree a little bit. Just meaning, like, listen, man, I need to see something in that Tottenville game. Like, to be honest with you, I need to see a lot in that Tottenville game. To be honest with you, like,
I agree.
you know,
Yeah,
it's not just oh man, like here comes Tottenville to town. Like let's pack it up. Like
yeah,
I don't need to see that. Like I need to see a team. I need to see a team that's embarrassed. I need to see a team that's desperate. I need to see a team that's competing.
Yeah.
If they get beat, they get beat. But I need to see
A
11
competitive
kids
fight.
rallying to the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that is what I personally need to see. And Ed, are you serious? Did you actually miss the whole
Wow.
Hayes E-Hole segment? Yeah,
You
you
talked a
got
lot about your guys, Ed.
You're gonna have to
you
run
were
it back, man.
you were in the chat. Damn.
You're
Well,
gonna have to
that's
run
why
it
it's on
back,
YouTube.
Ed.
You can watch it back. You rewind it.
Exactly.
But let's go to a game that I am excited about because another one of the absolute standout players of the weekend was in this game. 28-7 Port Richmond. This game was sponsored by Kasim Cromwell.
Yeah. He had a day.
This guy Kasim, man.
He had a day.
The thing that's so impressive about Kasim is no matter what field he's on, I feel like he stands out as one of the top athletes on that field,
Always.
What do you have? 3 tutties, right?
Four
Yeah,
for four, man.
four tutties. Wow, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so impressive, it's he's a really smooth runner. He doesn't look like he's, some guys, like that's not Kasim at all. Super smooth. I mean, everything off tackle. Like the thing is, I feel like he has way more in his bag than he even showed on Saturday. Like Saturday was just like, yeah, I'm a better athlete. I'm just gonna run around you, honestly. But
That force was a kid. I saw a
I saw
grown
a
man
grown man
running.
yes, I feel like he didn't even really need to get into his bag in that game because he was just such a superior athlete. And like I said, he's going to be a superior athlete on most fields he's on. Huge shout out to the right side of the Port Richmond offensive line because I thought they were absolutely excellent. If I'm not mistaken, he had at least 2 or 3 touchdowns just off of zone right. So really impressive performance from them. Anything on this game?
Yeah, I feel like, I seen that game got a little chippy as well. At the start of that
Yes.
game, they had a little smoke, little Staten Island smoke. But like you said, Kasim Cromwell, he was a star of that show. Former Staten Island Player of the Year last year for a reason. And I feel like this year he's the major piece of that offense, other than the transfer kid. What's his name? The Zimmerman kid. Um, but I feel like Kasim is definitely going to pick up where he left off, and he's going to put up some big numbers in Staten Island, similar to Tyshawn's numbers this year, simply because of the carries and the impact he has on his team's offense. They're running the offense through him. So if he stays healthy, he's going to put up some crazy numbers as well this year. Shout out to Cromwell.
Garrett?
So one thing that I noticed with Port Richmond, and if Lars is in the chat, maybe you could help me out with this. Like, I don't think Zimmerman got to play
Yeah, after
a lot of the game. So
Correct.
I think he
yeah,
got
here we are.
ejected.
Two players got
Yeah.
ejected. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming he was one of them, right?
Yeah.
And listen, I saw AJ Zimmerman play in the Catholic League last year. He's very good. So Kasim Cromwell still did his thing with all the attention on him.
Yeah, it
And
was
yeah,
the first
exactly.
play.
So he got ejected the first play. Wow, I knew he got ejected. I just didn't. Wow, that early. It's crazy. But yeah, so now Kasim still doing that with all the attention on. Now you throw in Zimmerman. That's a pretty crazy 1-2 punch. We still haven't seen it yet. And we get to see it next week. So it's gonna be really fun to watch. And there's also this kid, I think his name's Cam from Port Richmond. He's a sophomore. And like he could do a little bit of everything for them. So he was pretty exciting to see. He had some highlights against McKee. That was pretty impressive. So Port's got some athletes, and then what Dre said with some of their linemen up front, it gets kind of interesting because you look at their schedule. I said this similar to New Dorp. Port's in a spot where it's like, okay, you play Yonkers next week. I don't know too much about them. Maybe win that game, and then it's New Dorp, which it's a winnable game for both teams, it seems like at this point. And then after that, you have South Shore, where don't call me crazy, who knows what could happen.
No, I don't think you're crazy at all, honestly. And
yeah, especially after this week, I don't think I'm
weeks,
crazy anymore. So
the first 2 weeks. Sorry, go ahead, Jared.
No, I was just agreeing. But yeah, no, I really like the kid Cam from Port Richmond though. I need to get once these rosters are out, it'll be much easier. But he's a player, so I really like what PR is up to right now. And now you get Zimmerman back next week. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I want to give a huge shout out. I don't have his name, but number 54 from Port Richmond's defensive line. I thought he was really wreaking havoc for sure. And that's what really made you think like, yo, listen, again, Port Richmond was one of those unfortunate 3 from last year with that crazy schedule. They are freed. 4 wins gets you into the playoffs. And listen, okay, that game is at home. So first 4 games for Port Richmond, home to New Dorp, away to South Shore, home to Curtis, home to Canarsie.
Other than that Curtis game, you never know. Yeah, you never know.
Listen, you always got to go out and compete. If it goes chalk, listen, a 3-1 Port Richmond team. Jason Cortez, thank you. Thank you for that, Connor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a beast. So huge shout out to him. But hey, let's see where Port Richmond is at. Those first 2 games though are definitely going to be war. I'm sure New Dorp is just as important for New Dorp as well. They're going to be, really excited for that game. So yeah, and Port Richmond, New Dorp, I cannot wait. Hopefully that game is being streamed somewhere. That was one of the games I was considering having as a game of the week. I had to kind of start it with the champs. But I'm really, really excited for that game. So, and that's up in 2 weeks. And I just want to give a quick shout out to the McKee offensive line. I thought they were really, really gritty. And number 3 from McKee, I thought he did a great job. And I'm pretty sure number 1 is the quarterback. I think his last name is Knight. I think that, McKee will be a force in the 3A. I'm happy for them. I think that's, a good level for them. And I think they had a really good showing of themselves. They were in that game a bit Couple of mistakes from them. Kasim is Kasim. So
He took over.
anything else, guys?
Nope.
Nah, we straight on to the next.
All right. So I'm going to go to this one next just because I see a couple of people in the chat asking for it. I personally don't have a lot to say about this game, so I'm going to kind of rely on you guys, but we had a tie.
I mean,
We had a tie.
I didn't see much from this game other than the highlights Perlo posted on his Instagram, Coach Perlo. Yeah, but I'm not sure that's a good sign for a 4A team. Having being in a dogfight with a 3A APR team. And this might be a good sign for APR that they're actually competing with a 4A caliber team, But I don't know the kid's name from APR. I gotta check him out. I keep seeing people mention him. Number 0, the new running back. He's a transfer, I believe, from Cardinal Hayes. No, is he from Hayes? I know people keep mentioning him. I know there's some APR players in the chat right now.
yeah.
Ahmad,
He's
Jordan.
the Hayes kid,
Okay. So everyone's saying he's good. I can't wait to see the kid live. But yeah, I think that's the obvious thing with APR. Their big dog Travis, he transferred to a school in Florida, so we're gonna have to see how that offense is flowing without Travis in there. He was damn near the whole offense, so we'll see how APR looks going forward. I know Kennedy still has Jeremiah Sanat back, and they got our guy at running back. He's back as well.
Yeah, Batances.
Yeah, Batances is back. So yeah, but like I said, I didn't really see much film on this game, unfortunately. So
yeah.
Jared.
I was gonna say I'm in the same boat. Unfortunately, we don't have a ton to go off of, but 8-8, seemed like a battle. From what I heard, I think it's still week 0 where both teams made some mistakes where maybe it could have been a little bit higher scoring. But one thing I'm excited for APR, you mentioned that kid, the Hayes kid Torre. That's great. I'm pumped to see what they do passing the ball going forward.
Yeah.
Zaire Jones is legit, right? And then Isaac Suazo, is going to be great as
Suazo,
well.
yeah.
I know he's awesome on defense, but he could also be great on offense. So, and then, Manny at quarterback, like I'm interested to see if, APR can get things going through the air while still, utilizing that tough line to play some smash mouth football. So I'm interested to see if they do that, because then I think they could become, really dangerous. And then, yeah, I wish I saw the tape just to see about, just see more of JFK and what they have.
Yeah.
I know they lost some of their big boys from last year, but clearly, like, they're still playing with a lot of toughness. Derek, Jeremiah, they're all back, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, no, I want to give a huge shout out. I see him in the chat. I saw him saw this pair during the Rising Stars game presented by Move the Change. You owe me $10 for that. So no, seriously. So Zaire, Edward, and Rock. Rock, if you don't mind, just send me a voice note on the Sage page so I can pronounce your last name properly. Yeah, but Zaire Edwards and Rock. I saw them in the Rising Star game, and I was like, "Whoa, these two kids are going to be solid. These two kids are going to be solid in the middle of this APR defense, and clearly holding a JFK team that is returning Batances, that's returning Manny, that's returning, Jeremiah. This team has a lot of threat running that triple option. So for you guys for them to hold them up to 8 points is really, really impressive. What this scoreline tells me, without even seeing any film, is that APR was fired up for this game, that they were running around and making tackles. How do I know this? You have to be like this to hold a JFK team to 8 points.
Yeah, definitely with that offense that they run. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about contenders in the 3A, and we're going to get to another contender in the 3A right after this. I think
Somebody
APR is
said
going to be right there.
APR should be in the 4A over Clinton. That's what somebody said in the comments.
Okay. I just want to say for this, I have not seen Clinton. They might have a tough season, mainly because of their schedule. I do not understand why they got that schedule. I want to say that publicly.
Yeah.
While we're on the subject, let me just go take a look at Clinton's schedule, just so I can read it out for the greater public. Home to Brooklyn Tech, home to Tottenville, away to New Dorp, away to Lincoln, home to E Hall, home to Canarsie, away to Curtis, away to Port Richmond. That is hell on earth.
It's a gauntlet. Yeah. I mean, that's
so.
Yeah.
Very well coached team over there. That is a tough schedule. So wishing them the best. Got to put everything into context, just like we put how we put New Dorp, Port Richmond, and Wagner into context last year. Like we have to put into context this year. So yeah, huge shout out to the interior of that APR line. Anything else on this game? Oh, I guess we didn't really talk about JFK so much. JFK, we definitely need better. We're not disrespecting APR. I think APR is a very, very solid team, maybe a team that can play in the 4A for sure. But the level of your schedule, which I should read out, right? Because I just read out.
Man.
Yeah, that schedule. Oh, man.
So JFK is away to E Hall, away to Lincoln. Jesus, away to Eagle. That's a tough start to the season.
Tough.
And then they're home to Fort Hamilton, home to Curtis, home to Wagner, away to Tottenville, home to South Shore.
That's tough.
Yeah, that's tough.
Start them with 3 road games. How did that even happen?
Yeah, the scheduling has to be a little more I guess fair is the word. That's 3 tough road opponents at that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, whoa.
3 tough road opponents back to
crazy.
back to back.
Yeah, that's man.
The PSAL could have blessed and gave one of those, at least one of those in the Bronx, maybe, at least.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
come on.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough opener. But we all know, how how JFK is. They're not ducking no smoke. They're not, hiding away from, that level of competition. So
yeah.
As a
that's
first,
a great point.
Yeah,
That's
as a first look,
point.
Yeah, we definitely need better. But we'll see. Anything else in this game?
I'm excited for next week. Yeah, no, you go.
We said it at the same time, Jared. That's how true it is. I'm excited to see both of these schools. APR has a tough one next week against Chaminade. And I just really want to see what JFK is about. I know they got Batances back, who's a stud. So yeah, I'm just excited to see both of these 2 schools going forward. My bad, Jared.
Nah. We both said at the same time, and it's true. It's gonna be fun. JFK's got a fun non-league game, and then APR. I mean, they're coming to Long Island, so I'm amped up for it. But they're playing a legit AAA team. So it's gonna be a big challenge. So I'm just excited to see how a lot of these kids do on this type of stage. Probably their hardest game out of like their regular season schedule right now. So actually it definitely is. So it's gonna be fun.
Yes. I see someone. All right. So we are going to. All right, we're gonna do this game quick. I don't have much to say about this game. I actually, unfortunately, didn't see any of this game. Hopefully, my guys can help me out a bit. Xaverian for Hamilton to kind of finish up the 4A. 44-14. Didn't see the context of this game. I heard it wasn't close at any point.
Yeah.
I think I saw it was 34-6 at some point, maybe.
It got ugly quick. I think
Okay.
it was like I think Xaverian started like Tottenville did. I think they were up like 23-0, but then like their foot didn't come off the gas. And for some context, though, because some people are looking at this like 4A team losing to a AA2 team, Xaverian won the AA2 last year, and they could compete in the AA1, which has, St. Peter's in it and Kellenberg and good football teams. And AA2 is still good, but I'm saying Xaverian could definitely play at that level, and they have a lot of talent. Trust me, we're gonna get to see it. They play against Sheepshead Bay next week, so
Yeah, that's a
we're
test.
really gonna
That's
see
a
what's
nice
up. But I'm
test.
telling you, Xaverian returns a bunch of pieces from a team that won the AA2 championship and that have a good offense. Richie Aikens, Terrence Watson, just some good guys. So, and Fort Hamilton, it's a tough. Yeah, Xaverian's coached very well, and for Fort
Yes.
Hamilton, you not only lose seniors, you lose a stud running back, Harold Marshall, from last year. Like there's a little bit of just some time to, develop and get their footing a little bit. And it's gonna come because their culture is great over there at Fort Ham.
Yes,
And
definitely. I agree with that, Jared. First of all, I respect Forehand for just taking that leap to decide to go with the big dogs in the 4A. You got some schools who are scared to take that leap, so for them to decide to do that as a program, you got to respect that.
Yeah.
Um, I see Coach Dre in the comments from Coach Dre from Sheepshead saying that their quarterback had 3 interceptions and a fumble. That's tough. I don't think there was a live stream for this game. I was just keeping track of the scores there. But like you said, Xaverian is a former champ. So that was a big test for Fort Ham. Similar to like some of the other games that happened this weekend, you get to see where you're at, and move accordingly after that. But yeah, I heard that Fort Hamilton's offensive line is very small. So yeah, I can't wait to see what Forham is really made of and what they have over there.
to that point, Aiden Porter is a player that I put on my preseason breakout player to watch. And then, I am not overreacting on a Monday at week -1. I think Aiden Porter can definitely be a really, really good quarterback.
He's a
And
good athlete,
honestly, I'm
yeah.
gonna put this on the screen again. Actually, no, I won't put it on the screen again, but 4 turnovers, I love it. I love it. Get it all out your system now.
We hope. We hope it's
Okay.
not more to get out. But yeah, get it out now, week 0, please. Get it out now.
Get them out now. Have your bumps and bruises. Your coach is gonna yell at you Monday or Monday at film, whenever you guys watch film. Just get it out the way now. There are bigger games to come. You guys do have a game of the week against JFK. Big spot for you guys there. Okay, yeah, saying that he ran well, that is expected of Aiden. Aiden is his first year playing quarterback on the varsity. He was a wide receiver last year. So yeah, get the interceptions out of the way. We know that you're a tremendous athlete, and you're going to show it. Simple as that. It's a big year for Fort Hamilton. They open up the season actually against Eagle Academy. That game will be on stream. I personally won't be at it, but I'm definitely can't wait to watch that game back. I'll be at Curtis. I personally will be at Curtis Lincoln, but yes, I'll be at Curtis Lincoln, but my other crew will be live streaming that one. So really excited for that. Anything else in this game? All right. Last game of the night.
Battle of Bay Ridge.
And let's go to the 3A.
Sharks, baby.
34-0.
Sharks.
Sheepshead. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes,
I think this was the score because they didn't update the score.
Yes.
Jared, for context, they didn't update the last touchdown on the scoreboard. Everybody was confused about that. So I'm pretty sure it was 34. 34-0 Sheepshead. Yeah, you were at the game. I'll give you the first looks at this one.
I feel like I seen a lot of people throwing some shade saying, "Oh, it's only poly prep, it's this, that, and the third." Those poly prep boys, they're well coached. It's always a well coached group, number one. Now in terms of Sheepshead, Naeem Cooper, that's so big for FJM, having Coop back where it all started. Um, I feel like he's gonna provide that energy. He's gonna bring that spark to that team every single week. Um, you know, uh, I feel like the QB1, Mikey, he had some nice stints where he made some plays. Um, they have, the Ant, the transfer from Far Rockaway Ant. He stepped up. He made some nice plays. I feel like he can be a very solid receiver for them. They have D'Lo, who he had a stint in the PSAL as well. He's out there playing receiver for them. So I feel like they have more than enough weapons to make a real legitimate run this year in the 3A for sure, for sure. Defensively, they led by Big Brit, up front
Yeah.
on the D line. Very good. I feel like they have a very solid team, very well coached, and I'm excited to see them this year.
Now, real quick, yes, Coach Dre, Coach Mac, I know those are my guys. I have to be the one to say it. Let's easy, 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 easy. I know. I said we are allowed to overreact, but easy. There's a week -1. There's a lot of teams in this 3A is hell in a cell. Tables,
But
ladders, and
listen,
chairs.
Dre, we'll see.
TLC. Yeah.
Xaverian is not poly, so we'll see what's going on Friday night.
That's true.
The main reason I want to say this though is like there's a lot of teams in the 3A that a lot of people aren't thinking about. So first of all, there's Truman, who was undefeated in the 3A last year, right? Truman did lose in the first round of the playoffs.
No, second round.
Did they is that
Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't lose first round. Yeah.
Yeah,
Truman
no,
lost
Truman's
second
legit.
round.
I'm on this. I'm
Oh,
on
you're
this
right.
train
They
too,
did.
bro.
You're right. I
Yeah.
forgot. They beat Lane. Okay. I couldn't remember if it was Lane who lost. Yeah. So they beat Lane. Yes. So Truman's in that division. Lane's in that division. Madison is dropped down from the 3A. Utrick dropped down from the 3A.
Yeah.
Midwood
Midwood dropped
Midwood,
now.
down from the
man.
3A. I
Those
mean, you still
teams.
have Bayside in that division. Dozo,
Those-
APR.
Yeah, bro, it's tough. It's a tough division this year.
Utrick is in that division. Utrick is returning the running back who was the top running back in yards in the division for quite some
Number one.
time.
Yup. Number
Yeah.
one.
Also
Yup.
McKee too. I mean, Lehman, like
Like guys,
it's gonna get interesting. It's gonna get
yeah,
interesting.
this division is gonna get crazy. So I did like a lot of things from this game as well, though. Of course, Naeem Cooper. I mean, again, I'm going to use this word. The word of the day is desperation, man. Like, player that looks like he's playing with desperation with a point to prove
Yeah, that's
was
cool.
Naeem Cooper
Yeah.
for sure. Relentless running the ball. He said, Dre, you've proved your point. My fault. Could you tell that I've been kind of sitting on that one? I'm like, yo, y'all been talking like I love me some Sheepshead, but like, damn, y'all forgetting how many teams are actually in the 3A.
Yo, he said screen records. Look at Mac.
What are you screen recording?
He's saving that for the
I didn't hand you the
archives.
championship on August 30th. I didn't come out there and hand you the championship.
That's funny.
Yeah. But to talk about Naeem Cooper, I mean, this kid, it looks like he's trying to be on all the list at the end of the year. I love that for him. Was that 99-yard pick six?
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah.
At the end of the half. So if he fell down, the half was over.
That was nuts.
Tremendous. just like Carl was talking about in the trenches. Amari Britt. I mean, again, another player that's going to be on every single list at the end of the year. Again, you talk about Jaleel Parnell, Jared Surratt, Kendall Brown, Omar Melendez. I might be forgetting of some names. Forgive me, it's late, but Amari Britt was also another one of the standouts on
Absolutely.
defense for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Huge shout out. Jared, anything on this game?
And I think that's going to be one of the big components for Sheepshead Bay. As I love the skills players, but they're going to be good in the trenches, man. And Big O, Octavius White,
Yeah.
and some other linemen. I think they could honestly be difference makers if they're able to execute and do their thing. It obviously makes the life of skill players easy, and they got a lot of talent over there. So I'm excited for it. They put on, good statement win against Poly Prep, but like E said, Xaverian is in Poly Prep. We're gonna see a lot next week. It's gonna be
Friday
interesting.
night. Yep, we'll see that totally different opponent. A way tougher test for Sheepshead Friday night. So we'll get to see more of what they're made of for sure.
Yeah.
Guys, I was getting ready to wrap. All right, let me go see the schedule now.
Yeah, and I'm
Who
sure
Sheepshead
Xaverian
Bay?
is also Xaverian's thinking the same thing. Like they beat Fort Hamilton, but they're probably hearing like, oh, like Fort Hamilton lost a lot. Like, let's see what happens when you play Sheepshead Bay, who has a ton of talent. So I think both teams are just going to be super fired up to really prove themselves and get a second non-league win. So it's I'm pumped. It's a great. I'm glad these two teams decided to get together for next week.
I'm gonna read off their schedule. Let me know what you guys think. Home to Dozo, home to John Adams, away to John Jay, away to Lehman, home to Madison, away to Truman. That is one of the toughest places to play in the PSAL if you've ever been there before. Wait, hold on. It should be away to Lehman, to Truman. I don't know why the location says it's at Sheepshead. I don't know if someone in the chat can clarify that. It says that Truman is the home team, but it says the location is at Sheepshead.
They play Lehman and Truman. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Same thing with John Jay. I don't know if that's a typo. Anyway, so Truman, away to Stuyvesant, and then home to Midwood to end out the season. I mean,
it's a few games
they missed
on
a
this
couple
schedule.
of people, but
a few games on this schedule. I can't wait to see. Honestly, I feel like John Jay might have a good year this year in the 3A. Truman in the Bronx could get tricky. He said belt.
wait.
Yeah,
I don't understand. What?
Whoa, what?
Home games and 2 away games.
How they don't have fields this season?
What?
Oh,
Are they
field that Truman
redoing
plays
Truman
at? Is
Field?
it a thing?
All of those schools don't have fields? That's weird.
No.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I ever seen that before. Yeah, I heard of but for that many schools to not have fields at one time, yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, it's not good. It's tough for the players to have all those road games. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I was like, because I've been to Truman's Field. Like they have a field on
They have
their
that nasty
school
grass.
campus.
Yeah, that nasty.
it looks cool on film, though. I'll say it. It looks cool on film. I haven't been there before, though.
Nah, hold on.
Not a
Nah,
fan,
E, that was
Jared.
personal. Nah, you played there before, E.
I'm not a fan of grass of
that
that type.
nasty grass.
Yeah, nah, sorry. I didn't want to throw no shade at no Truman dudes, but yeah, man. John Jay doesn't have a field at the moment either. Wow. Well, they just got their program back, so I don't know if that has something to do with it, but maybe.
Yeah, that's funny, man. That's funny. I've been to a Truman Eagle. God, man, I'm old, guys. I think it was in like 2018 or something like that. An Eagle Truman game at Truman, and it was their homecoming, and it was like I swear they planned this. Like I was like, damn, their homecoming is whack. and then like the whole student body like came out at once.
At one time, no fails in the
Chaos.
BX. What?
And Truman was good that year too. They had a running back. I don't remember his name, but he was tough, man. They beat the hell out of the Eagle that day. I can't lie. So all right, guys. I think that's enough. Stevenson and Vander Truman.
Oh,
How does Lehman not have a field? I've been to that field too.
That's crazy. Most of them, I don't know why. Most of the fields in the Bronx are grass. I'm not sure what was the reasoning for that. I know Lehman used to play on a grass field. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but yeah, I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, I cannot believe that many teams don't have a field. It's 80 yards. Wow. That's crazy. We need to do better but for our Bronx brothers, man.
Lehman is 80 yards.
oh,
What?
man.
They used to play games on that field with it being 80 yards.
Yeah.
Yo, what? I never
Wait,
knew that. And
what field is that?
Lehman, he said it's 80 yards. I never knew that all these years. I never knew they were playing games. You know how many games they played on that field?
Are you serious? That can't be right.
Yo, nah, that's crazy.
Wow. Well, listen, guys, we're gonna call it a show, man. Yo, I love the viewership today. Everybody was getting in on the chat.
Yeah.
It was great. I thought it was a great opening show. Again, I always just want to leave it on the standout schedule. Listen, let me say this. I love that there are so many new media outlets. I love it. But just to puff my chest out a little bit, listen, y'all know there's only one game in the week, all right?
Yeah.
Y'all know there's only one game in a week. I know there's like 8 people say this is. Listen, y'all know what time it is. Y'all know what interview y'all want to be on.
Talk your stuff.
What I'm saying?
Talk your stuff, bro.
This is the stage you want to be on. You see the four people on the graphic, 4 faces of the PSAL.
They know what's
So
Yeah.
this is where this is the stage you want to perform on. So we're so excited to be able to bring you guys this for year 2. Just a quick reminder for the Sage Standout Student Section Scholarship. So again, it's going to be your first home game. So make sure, you guys pass that along to all of your classmates and everything like that. So it's super exciting. So they can, paint their chest or whatever they need to do when they come to the game. And of course, this is the month to become a YouTube member. There will be YouTube member only fields. Julian Ortiz, I love this. I'm gonna stop selling to say this because I love this mentality. Because Julian, and other people know, if you come out and prove me wrong, what am I gonna do?
Facts.
That's what I'm gonna do. So I really hope you prove us wrong, man, for sure.
That'd be great for the league.
Yeah, would love it.
Great for the
absolutely.
league.
We
would love to see that.
We need Bronx representation at the top. We absolutely need that.
Love to see that.
So, all right, guys. Like I said, become a YouTube Sage member. I think we gained like 3 or 4 during this stream. Really appreciate you guys. A lot goes into putting on these live streams, putting on these podcasts. So appreciate any support that you guys can give. So we'll go to Jared. Any last words for tonight?
I mean, great week 0. I think it really sets up, or a great week -1 really sets up for a great next week, man. It really sets it up for a lot of exciting games. Yeah, shout out to all, the student athletes out there who played this past week, really performed, grinded, all that hard work's really, coming to show now. So it's awesome. I'm just pumped. Football season is here, so I'm just so happy.
Yes.
Yo, Ed, you were crazy in the chat. I'm gonna call you after.
Yeah.
You're annoying me. Last words.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for tuning in, of course. Now if you were, on the L side of things this past week, it's all about the get back. It's a long season ahead of us. It's just very good to see a lot of the student athletes this past weekend, and I'm just excited for what's to come for all of us, So the season is here. I see you guys this upcoming week.
Listen, so real quick to Mario, you never know where I'm going to pop out, especially for the 3A games. If you remember from last year, we got a couple of 3A games. We got a 3A game. We got a 2A game in. So, one thing I always say when I get messages like this, I'll probably be at the championship. You know what I'm saying? I live stream all the championship games. So if you want a Sage stream, there's one guaranteed way to get it, is to get to that tip. You know what I'm saying? And I guess the last word I'll say is, listen, boys, we not in 7-on-7 no more. Those graphics, those tights not gonna save you.
Real deal now.
Season, boys.
Real deal now.
The tights are at the bottom of the drawer.
Save them till next spring.
Exactly. So can't wait for the rest of the season, guys. Make sure you support E. You follow E on all the social medias. You follow Jared on all the social media. Salute